Almost cut my hair. Happened just the other day. It's getting kinda long. I could have said it was in my way, but I didn't, and I wonder why. Feel like letting my freak flag fly, 'cause I feel like I owe it to someone. Oh, Sweetie Puss has graced us with her presence, so great. Now then, people, hello. What day is it today? The 25th? Oh, the 25th. I think it's the 26th. Oh no, well, it says the 25th here, so I'll have to go with that. Of January 2018 already. Oh, sweetie. This is a bit of a distraction, this pusscat. Yes, and it's been a beautiful day, and I've been out there digging. Yeah, pretty good progress really. Although it's very slow, I'm happy. So, if you're happy, you can't really ask for much more than that, can you? Good lass. Yesterday it was, yeah. I had a look online. I posted a couple of these blogs, or whatever you like to call them, and had a look at a couple of new peoples I've not been on before, you know, to see what they're up to, and then the Potter's Clay, which I have visited a few times, and he's very good, or he or she or them. I don't know who does it, but they're very good. There is quite a bit of reference to the Bible, which, yeah, I accept all that. If it's truth, it's truth. There's no doubt about that. I don't believe in God myself, a Christian God, but I know there is a creator, so I can get along with people who know there's a creator and know the earth is flat. If they believe in God, fine. It doesn't affect me whatsoever. I wouldn't ever try and prize them out of that belief, but it's not for me. That's all I'm saying. I need to witness this thing, this God, this creator, before I would know it's real and therefore accept it as a fact. Anyway, but the Potter's Clay, he was on about the creator that we can all see when the moon is clear enough, anyway, and there's no light pollution. I can see it from here. Tycho crater. It's kind of the, if you'd say 6 is at the bottom, like a clock. It's about 7 o'clock or thereabouts. Of course, the moon wheels, so I can't really be that specific. But it's the crater that looks like lots of things have sort of blown off it, and it reminds me of the bottom of an orange. You know, the little sort of bum hole in the bottom of the orange, where the flower once was. Actually, that's what that is. And like I say, it is visible if your clarity is good and you've got little air pollution, light pollution, or air pollution. And they tell us, the people who profess to know all about the moon and have been there and have mapped it and all that, they say that that crater is 54 miles across. And the Potter's Clay point out quite simply that if it were 54 miles across, there's no way we would see it with the naked eye. No way, because they say the moon is 238,900 miles. I think that's the average. Because they say it moves around, and well, obviously it does move around, but they say it comes closer and further away from Earth. Well, I think it does that as well, but I don't. I certainly don't think it's a big. Well, I don't know whether it's a sphere or not. I suspect not, but I know it looks like one, but appearances can be deceptive. But they say that it's 238,900 miles away, and it's tidally locked, so it only shows one face. The likelihood of that is, well, zero. When you know everything about all the nonsense of the vacuum of space, you know that is just some kind of fantasy program, or programming even. So very good. The potter's clay was actually responding to a newspaper article. I think it was a Daily Express had written about the potter's clay, saying that he said that the moon was 4 miles from Earth. Well, of course, he never said that, because that would be ridiculous. It's quite a bit, a little bit more than that, quite a bit more than that, I would say. But that's, again, this is all speculation that I'm saying just at this point about the moon distance, but it's certainly not 248,900 miles. That is, well, if that were true, how the hell could you see a 54-mile crater? You couldn't even, well, you couldn't see any detail, and he demonstrates. Oh, I keep calling him he, the potter's clay. Excuse me if it's not a he. But this person keeps, well, sorry, refers to scale and how that works, and it's quite obvious that with a bit of thinking, a bit of thought, it's obvious that it wouldn't work. You know, you couldn't see it. And he uses funnily enough, a jet, an airliner, and he says, I keep saying he, but sorry, it's 100 and just let's say 130 foot for an airliner. I think the that's a 737, I think, and that's what we are expected to believe, that the space station is the size of two of those. Now, even he demonstrates that you couldn't see it at 100 miles away. You couldn't see the airliner, of course not. But could you see then an airliner at 200 miles away if it was twice the size? Well, no, obviously not. So how come they say you can see the space station, and that is presumably, well, what they say, 250 miles away? The size of two airliners, 250 miles away. And people believe this bullshit, and they go out and see it, you know. Now, if you imagine a ball, a sphere of 25,000 miles circumference, and then you shrink that down to the size of a tennis ball, so then scale 250 feet from the surface of that tennis ball. Let's not have a tennis ball, it's too furry. Let's have a cricket ball. People might not know what that is. It's specific to certain countries. So let's have a balled cricket ball. Tennis ball rather. A balled tennis ball. That size, yeah. So if you were to scale 250 miles from that sphere, it would be, probably something like 2 or 3 mil. And then imagine being on a craft that's going around at, breakneck, ridiculous speed. But you don't have to imagine that. Just imagine being on a craft 250 miles away from the surface of this ball, this balled tennis ball, and then see how much you could see, what your vision splay would be. And then imagine the other way around, what you would see if you were on the surface of this ball, tennis ball, looking up at this thing 250 miles away. What kind of a span would you see it? Say, I've got nothing to demonstrate with here, but I'll use this candle and just imagine that's a sphere, and you're tiny amount from the surface of that sphere. So could you see it from there? No. Could you see it from there? No, of course not. If it was there, you couldn't see it because of the curvature of the Earth, right? Yet this so-called space station, yes, we like to call it the fake station because that's what it is, fake. But they will they will say that it's visible from almost any city on Earth. I think it's every city on Earth at some time. You can see it. It's total horse shit. Of course you couldn't see it. You couldn't see it if it were travelling directly above you, never mind if you were down here somewhere, because it's too far away and it's too small to be seen. I've seen it. No, you've seen something. You've seen a light possibly, but you haven't seen the fake station because it doesn't exist. You've got to accept facts. You've got to break through the cognitive dissonance and accept reality for what it is. At first I was very disappointed that I couldn't blast off to distant galaxies. Not that I would have anyway, because, obviously not. But I was thinking collectively as man, wouldn't it be great if? But no, when you know that can't happen, and you've got over being lied to, and the facts take shape in your head, in your mind, then it's a very easy thing to accept. Not only is it easy, but it does kind of free you up. It allows you to take back your senses. Just let your senses be your guide. Now, that is a quote from a song that I'm struggling to remember. But I think it's Ike Willis who says that. And I think he says it rather than sings it. He's a great singer as well. Bionic baritone, as he's described. Ike Willis. If you know him, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, yes, it may be disappointing it's very, you feel betrayed, actually, at first. And that's a terrible feeling, betrayal. Betrayed by the authorities, well, that's not too bad. I tell you, it's a lot better than being betrayed by a loved one. But the authorities are always going to lie to you. You know that politicians lie, so why should it stop there? Because they're at the scummy end, and somebody up there is controlling everything.